Howdy. Watching windy, and it is windy at least in Central Europe. There has been many things going on in Switzerland at least. I think also in France, Italy, Germany, Benelux states, maybe even in Spain, Portugal, and England. Because there's quite a storm going on. And as we watch this windy map here, we can trace it in a way back, just following the lines, and we end up somewhere here, where we have the Mississippi River, and there has been some tornadoes and stuff like this going on recently. Another thing which I find really interesting is this feature here. It seems to plunge into the Atlantic. This looks very interesting. This might be this kind of atmospheric river or something like that. I don't know. I just happened to notice this when I was watching the bigger weather pattern. But there is a little bit colder air coming in from the north, which might not be very helpful to get any spring into Europe. But the reason why I have to talk about this is here is Switzerland, and somewhere here is the Mississippi River. And let's go back, what is it, 30 years or something? Yeah, the Great Flood of 1993. Or Great Mississippi and Missouri Rivers Flood of 1993 was a flood that occurred in the Midwestern United States along the Mississippi and Missouri rivers and their tributaries. From April to October, the flood was among the most costly and devastating to ever occur in the United States, with $50 billion in damages. The hydrographic basin affected an area approximately 745 miles in length and 435 miles in width, totaling 320,000 square miles. Within this zone, the flooded area totaled around 30,000 square miles and was the worst such U.S. disaster since the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927. As measured by duration, area inundated, persons displaced, crop and property damage, a number of record river levels. In some categories, the 1993 flood even surpassed the 1927 flood, at the time the largest flood ever recorded on the Mississippi River. Flood 1993. 25 years ago, and we are reading an article which is several years old. 2018, so it's 30 years, 1993. 25 years ago, the raging flood of the Saltina devastated the city center of Brick. 2 women died in a shop trapped by the floodwaters, mud and stones. There is no special occasion on the anniversary of the tragedy, as every year a commemorative mass will be celebrated on the station square, the community announced. In addition, the fire brigade will raise the Saltina Bridge, which was built 4 years after devastating flood where the disaster began. The Saltina River. So we go quickly here to my self-made pictures. Here is Brick, the city in Switzerland which got flooded. This is the path of the Saltina River, which is fed by the Portelsee. Here's the lake, which looks like this, and this, and this. I think it could be very well possible that this lake is fed from below, because we have this circular pattern and different colored sediments, even though it's not that well visible in this picture. But there was quite some flooding going on there. I've been in Brig a few weeks after the disaster, and you still could clearly see everywhere like they're fixing stuff. And it wasn't over yet by far. And I've been wondering, is there any possibility that there would be some kind of third-year oscillation, circulation, or whatsoever thing going on, which would mean, in other words, the tornadoes and stuff, there's like flooding going on, at least to some degree, in the Mississippi region at the moment. There has been very strong tornadoes. Was it so that there was one tornado which was about 7 minutes on the ground? Which is crazy. And now obviously, somehow this weather seems to come over to Europe, or at least it's in a way connected. Yeah, maybe it looked different a few days ago when the tornadoes were going on there in the Mississippi region. Another thing you can see here on this satellite image, there is no really like warm air going up here. There might be some warmer air going there, but that's not really this spring weather pattern we would like to see in order to get a little bit more warmth and stuff. And we had clear skies today. There's a region without clouds here. Might be related to the surface conductivity anomaly. And here somewhere is the MOHO depth difference, which I have been showing recently, which I think also has influence on weather patterns. And last night there was some auroras here, but they are rather faint. That's the moon. Yeah, barely visible with this camera. They weren't that strong once, they were rather strong between the trees and behind the houses and everything, but I didn't catch them. Now you can see them a bit better. I thought they were like somehow interesting because they weren't moving too much. They were more steady and somewhat like they seem to be just standing there, like vertical structures as they are. That's really faint. There are some clouds there in the background. I think that's Venus here. Yeah, let's try to enhance this a bit, because these were basically the only clouds I noticed in the whole sky, and they looked in a way interesting. And they also moved rather quickly. Yeah, I don't know if there's any definition. No, it's not really possible to pull them forth, but here they are. Yeah, I think with a better camera you could get much more out of these. They are really hard to see, but there were these kind of stripes And they were moving rather quickly, as I said. Yeah, I was doing stuff today. But anyway, I leave it here. Let's see if there's any flood going on in Central Europe soon. Maybe the Mississippi tornadoes were a warning. Let's see. Hopefully I'm wrong. But we probably should have to take this into account that there is a possibility because it happened already 30 years ago. Why shouldn't it happen again? Yeah. Let's see how the drought forecasts are coming into play, because many people are talking about, yeah, there's even more drought this year than last year. Maybe not. Maybe it's the opposite. More flood than for a long time. But we will be wiser after a while. I just wanted to share my thoughts about that. And I hope that you think about this for yourself and don't believe me. Make your own research and stuff like that. But anyway, thanks. Bye.